I'm a home health nurse. I work in the quiet, rural parts of Pennsylvania. Mostly it's just checking on elderly patients, making sure they're taking their meds, helping with daily tasks. It's predictable, or at least it used to be. Last month, the agency gave me a new patient, Robert Whitmore. He'd recently had a stroke and lived alone way out in the country. The drive itself was unsettling, a 40-minute trip down winding roads to a lonely gravel driveway. At the end of it stood a gray, two-story farmhouse, surrounded by empty, silent fields. It looked like a place time had forgotten. I knocked at 9 a.m. sharp. The door opened, and there was Robert. He was a thin, pale man in his 70s, leaning on a walker. But it wasn't his frailty that caught my attention. It was his smile. It was huge, stretched wide across his face, showing every single tooth. It looked unnatural, painful, like his facial muscles were being forced into that position. "You must be Rachel," he said, the smile never faltering. "Please, come in." The inside of the house was dark and stuffy. All the curtains were drawn, and it smelled of old wood and something else. A sickly sweet, rotting scent I couldn't place. "I'm so glad you're here," Robert said, his grin fixed. "My family is so excited to meet you." I was confused. "Your family? The agency files say you live alone." Robert just chuckled, a dry, rattling sound. "Oh, they're here. They're always here." He gestured toward the living room. "Come say hello." I stepped into the living room and my blood ran cold. Sitting perfectly still on an old floral couch were 4 people, an elderly woman, a middle-aged man and woman, and a teenage boy. They were all staring right at me. They all had the same horrifying, stretched smile as Robert. None of them moved. They didn't blink. They didn't breathe. Just sat there, smiling. "This is my wife, Margaret, my son, David, my daughter, Susan, and my grandson, Tommy," Robert announced proudly. "Family, this is Rachel. She's going to take care of us." I couldn't tear my eyes away from them. It looked like store mannequins, posed in a grotesque family portrait. "Mr. Whitmore," I managed to say, my voice trembling. "Are they? Feeling all right?" His smile seemed to widen. "You're perfect. We're all perfect now." Ever since we learned how to smile properly, I took a step back, my heart pounding against my ribs. As I watched, I saw the slightest movement. The faint rise and fall of their chests. They were breathing. Trying to act normal, I said, "I should check your vitals. Let's go to the kitchen." Robert nodded and shuffled ahead. As I followed, I risked a glance back at the living room. The family hadn't moved an inch. Their glassy eyes were still locked on me. In the kitchen, I took Robert's blood pressure, his temperature, all normal, but he never ever stopped smiling. The muscles in his own face must have been screaming in agony. "Mr. Whitmore," I asked, "how long have you been smiling like this?" He leaned in, his breath reeking of spoiled meat. "Since we all learned the secret. It's very important to smile, Rachel. Very important. Keeps him happy." "Keeps who happy?" I whispered. His eyes darted around the room, the ones in the walls. "I get very angry if we stop smiling." He told us the rules. Always smile. Never stop. Not even when you sleep. That was it. I stood up, grabbing my medical bag. I need to make a quick call to the agency. Panic set in. Robert's smile became a desperate, pleading grimace. "Please don't leave. We've been alone for so long. We need someone to smile with us." I backed away toward the front door. "I'll be right back," I lied. "Just need to get something from my car." I turned and walked as fast as I could. Behind me, I heard him shuffling, but he was moving impossibly fast for a man with a walker. "Rachel, you have to stay. They're watching. They're always watching. If you leave without smiling, they'll follow you." I reached the front door and grabbed the handle. It wouldn't turn. It was locked, but there was no lock. Just a solid, unmoving piece of metal. I spun around. Robert was right behind me. So was his family. All 5 of them, crowding the narrow hallway, their bodies unnaturally still, their smiles wider than ever. But their eyes were no longer glassy. They were completely black. Not just the pupils, the entire eye, to bottomless black pits. "You have to smile, Rachel," Robert said, his voice flat. "We've been smiling for 63 days. Our faces don't work anymore, but we can't stop. Please, Rachel, just smile with us. Then they'll let you leave." As he spoke, the walls around us began to move. They rippled like fabric in the wind. It looked like something was pressing against the wallpaper from the inside, trying to push its way through. "They're coming," the wife, Margaret, said in a monotone voice. "They always come for a new person. They want to see if you'll smile or scream." Shapes began to form in the rippling walls, faces, dozens of them, pushing through the plaster, their features long and distorted, their eyes just empty holes. And they were all smiling. Hands started to push through next, with impossibly long, thin fingers that reached out for me. The family closed in, all of them raising their hands toward my face. "We'll help you," Robert said. "We'll stretch your smile so it never ends. You'll be so happy. We're all so happy." I opened my mouth to scream, but a cold hand clamped over it. Fingers touched the corners of my lips and began to pull, and all I could hear was their voices chanting in unison, "Smile, smile, smile, smile." That was 3 weeks ago. I still go to work. I see my other patients. I drive home, watch TV. From the outside, my life is completely normal, except for one thing. I can't stop smiling. My face is locked in this agonizing grin. The muscles are on fire. I've tried everything. Ice, heat, massage. Nothing works. I went to a doctor, but when I tried to explain what happened, the only words that came out were, "I'm fine, just happy." And now, I can see them. The faces in the walls. They're here in my apartment, at the hospital, in my car. They're everywhere I go, their empty eyes always watching me, making sure I keep smiling. Last night, my neighbor knocked on my door. She looked worried. She said she could hear me crying through the walls. But I wasn't crying. I was laughing. A hysterical, broken laugh that I couldn't stop, even as tears streamed down my face. She saw my smile and her own face went pale. "Are you okay?" she asked, her voice shaking. I wanted to scream for help. I wanted to beg her to run, to call the police, to do something. But all I could do was smile even wider. "I'm perfect," I heard myself say. "Would you like to come in? I want to show you something. I want to teach you how to smile properly." She just stared for a second, then backed away and slammed her door. I heard the lock click. It doesn't matter, as the ones in the walls are patient. They waited 63 days for the Whitmore family to stop fighting it. They'll wait for her too. They'll wait for everyone, because sooner or later everyone has to smile.